inherited, what, £10 million from the late Queen Mother?
Again, that's all very secret, so we don't know the exact figures.
But why is no one asking him? I mean, him and his upstart wife that have arguably no real, like they haven't earned that money by any means. You know, why aren't we criticizing?
The unthinkable has just happened. Prince Harry, once hailed as the cheeky grandson of Queen Elizabeth II, is facing the most brutal reality check of his life. In a shocking move, UK MPs have united across party lines to strip him and Meghan of their royal titles. And if that wasn't enough, the Treasury has slammed them with a staggering $500,000 tax penalty due within 48 hours. The fairy tale of the runaway prince has crumbled into a tale of accountability, law, and humiliation that no one saw coming.
Extend the same courtesy to William.
Well, £369 million that's come from Crown Estate money. It's a very complicated system where the profits in the Crown Estate then get, you know, hived off by a certain percentage to repair Buckingham Palace over 10 years. Because of COVID and because
Prince Harry's fall from grace has been swift and merciless. For years, he declared he wanted independence from royal duty, yet he carried the golden badge of Prince and Duke of Sussex into Hollywood boardrooms, Netflix negotiations, and million-dollar speaking gigs. That contradiction is now catching up with him. Parliament, backed by overwhelming public support, is fast-tracking the removal of Titles Bill, sending a clear message: you cannot abandon responsibility while cashing in on privilege.
Got 100 million this year to complete Buckingham Palace. Do you think is it worth the money? Do we want all this money spent on a grand Buckingham Palace that people can visit and we can have state visits there?
As the bill races through Parliament, the urgency is unlike anything seen in modern royal history. Politicians across the spectrum agree. Harry has become a liability to both the monarchy and Britain itself. The government insists this isn't personal. It's about protecting the integrity of the crown. And viewers, if you think this dramatic showdown deserves attention, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more updates, because the next 48 hours could change Harry's future forever.
They get the money back, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly,
if they open it up more, then, you know, if they open it up, you know, 10 months a year as opposed to, how many months is it open now? 4 or 5 or something, whatever, you know. If
they've extended it over the summer now.
Yeah, extended it over the summer. They will get the money back, so that's fair enough, but it's a question of what. But I thought it was also rather interesting. I didn't think it was a very good look for William not to reveal what income tax.
But the stripping of titles isn't the only blow. Harry and Meghan now face a crushing $500,000 tax penalty. Officials argue that while ordinary Britons pay every pound demanded by the Treasury, Harry evaded responsibility while exploiting his royal status abroad. For the public, this isn't just about money. It's justice. The prince who once believed he was untouchable is now being forced to play by the same rules as everyone else, and the symbolism could not be more powerful.
I think it's a very strange thing that his spokespeople say that he's paying the maximum income tax on his profits from the Duchy of Cornwall. But why not tell us what that is?
What difference
I don't
does it
understand
make?
the point of keeping it secret. It's just not a very good look.
I understand why he's keeping it secret, because I think there is.
Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you never miss the latest royal drama unfolding in real time. Now back to Harry's crisis. Parliament's decision is more than symbolic. It's a declaration that the era of indulgence is over. For years, Harry claimed he wanted freedom, yet used his titles as bargaining chips in Hollywood. Lawmakers say enough is enough. This bill isn't just targeting Harry, it's redefining what royalty means in today's Britain.
You give the public too much to talk about. Again, he can't win. He could pay so much in income tax, but people are saying, oh, but then you must be earning this much. And then we get into a back and forth about what he's actually earning. You do have to realize that the royal family are kind of in a fishbowl. So they may be fabulously wealthy, but they can't really enjoy it. They can't walk around with like Rolexes and in ostentatious garb.
For Harry, the humiliation cuts far deeper than money or legalities. Titles aren't just ceremonial. They are identity, the very essence that elevated him from Harry Windsor to a global figure invited to world summits and commanding millions for speeches. Without Prince or Duke, those doors begin to close, and the Hollywood deals once showered upon him may dry up overnight. Meghan too feels the shockwaves. Though not directly targeted, her image has always been tied to her Duchess styling, the very badge that gave her credibility in negotiations. Stripped of that, she's left with failed ventures, canceled projects, and a reputation as difficult to work with. The couple's brand, built almost entirely on royal association, now faces collapse. And this time, it isn't gossip columns or tabloids. This is the law itself delivering the final blow.
So, I mean, there has to be limits on what you can share. And this is why I also agree with sort of Prince William's approach to streamlining the royal family, like many European royals have done, and downsizing it to have like they just need 2 homes, really. That's all they can make use of, Sandringham and Buckingham Palace, and just make everything else.
Before we continue, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you're the first to know when major royal updates break. Now, let's get into the heart of this moment. The $500,000 tax penalty is more than just a fine. It's a message written in bold print. The Treasury concluded that Harry, while signing multi-million-dollar deals abroad, continued exploiting his royal status without honoring the tax obligations at home. Ordinary Britons who work tirelessly and pay every penny demanded by law see this as long overdue justice. For once, the runaway prince is being treated like everyone else, forced to face the system he thought he had escaped. It's accountability on full display, no privilege, no protection, no excuses. For Harry, the humiliation is public and permanent, a reminder that heritage cannot shield him from the reach of British law.
We can really argue the case that this is actually an institution that benefits Britain in virtually every single way. I don't think that's asking for too much, but going down this rabbit hole about how much he actually makes, well, how much does he enjoy? He's not on a yacht in the south of France living the life that he wants to.
For Parliament, this isn't just about punishing one man. It's about preserving the credibility of the monarchy itself. Lawmakers argue that if someone like Harry can walk away from his duties yet still profit from his titles, then the crown becomes nothing more than a commercial brand. That, they say, cannot be allowed. The removal of titles bill is therefore a line in the sand, a warning to any royal who believes they can abandon service while keeping the perks. Even more striking is the rare unity behind it. Opposition MPs, who usually push back against government proposals, are openly supporting this move. Across the political spectrum, frustration with Harry has created an unusual alliance. He is no longer seen as Diana's lost son, but as a liability whose actions undermine the institution he once swore to uphold. The message is clear: royalty is a duty, not a brand to sell.
Income tax thing is interesting. We're going to get onto it later. We'll chat about it now. William earns money, I think it was like a 20-odd million he earns from the Duchy of Cornwall, which is something that he got from his father, who in turn got for, it's inheritance. It's all the land. And so he receives all this money, and then he pays the full rate of income tax.
The silence from Buckingham Palace speaks volumes. For years, the monarchy absorbed Harry and Meghan's criticisms, their documentaries, and interviews that painted the royals as villains. But now, insiders suggest a quiet sense of relief. This time, the palace doesn't have to respond. Parliament and the Treasury are doing it for them. The stripping of titles and the staggering tax penalty send the clearest message yet. The monarchy will not be exploited by those who walk away. For King Charles, Queen Camilla, and Prince William, it's a cleansing moment long overdue, one that restores public trust in the crown. And the public, weary of double standards, has rallied behind this bold move. Polls show overwhelming approval as citizens see Harry finally face the same accountability they endure. But here's the real question for you. Do you believe stripping Harry's titles is justice served, or has Parliament gone too far in humiliating him? Drop your thoughts below. We want to hear your take.
The argument is that we don't tell everybody how much tax we earn. We don't publish our tax receipts. I think in the US, maybe they ask the president to reveal their tax receipts. But, why should William reveal his tax? He's paying the top rate of tax.
It's also un-British. We don't really talk about money anyway.
Beyond Britain, the ripple effect is just as harsh. Across the Commonwealth, Harry's image as a victim has completely collapsed. Once viewed as the rebellious prince charting his own path, he is now mocked as a man who abandoned duty for profit and is paying the price. Media outlets from Canada to Australia frame him not as Diana's son, but as a cautionary tale of wasted privilege. Even his defenders in Hollywood are struggling to spin this crisis, with many quietly distancing themselves as his marketability plummets. Meghan, too, finds her position weakened. Without the Duchess title to lean on, her credibility in the entertainment industry shrinks, leaving her exposed to scrutiny over failed projects and strained business relationships. The couple who once tried to rebrand themselves as global icons are now facing a harsh reality. Without the prestige of royalty, their influence crumbles. This is no longer a family feud. It's a worldwide lesson on what happens when entitlement collides with accountability.
I understand the criticisms of the Queen back in the 90s about, her paying taxes. I get that, because you should actually be paying some taxes. But I think to go into the nitty-gritty of, how much have you earned, how much have you donated to charity, but then it looks like he might be bragging, like, I donated this much, 90% of those earnings to charity. It's an uncomfortable conversation that I think is completely unnecessary.
For Harry, the personal blow may be the harshest of all. Stripped of prince and duke, he becomes simply Harry Windsor, the sixth in line to a throne he openly rejected. Gone are the the days when his name alone could secure invitations to summits, royal tours, or high-profile conferences. Without titles, his influence shrinks dramatically. World leaders and global organizations no longer see him as a representative of Britain, but merely as a celebrity with fading relevance. The irony is brutal. The very titles Harry once claimed he didn't need were the foundation of his fame and fortune. Without them, speaking fees drop, invitations dry up, and Hollywood's interest wanes. The young soldier, once admired for service and sacrifice, has been reduced to a man battling for relevance in a world that has moved on. Supporters call it cruel, but critics insist he brought this on himself by leveraging his heritage while discarding his duty. What remains is a hollow brand collapsing under the weight of its contradictions.
Very interesting point yesterday, a very scathing article saying that the royals were now on a gravy train and getting far too much money from the sovereign grant, and in fact they'd offered up the royal train as a sort of distraction to take people's attention away from the fact that they're just earning too much money. And so, that's getting all the headlines, get rid of the royal train. So that's an interesting point of view. But I think it had to go. But as Esther says,
in Britain, the reaction has been nothing short of decisive. For years, ordinary taxpayers have watched Harry and Meghan live lavishly abroad while cashing in on their royal titles, all while criticizing the very institution that gave them that privilege. The $500,000 tax penalty strikes a chord with citizens who face strict tax laws without exception. To them, this isn't cruelty, it's fairness. Polls reveal overwhelming support for Parliament's action, with many calling it poetic justice. The prince who thought he could escape responsibility is finally held to the same standards as the people he left behind. Commentators note that Harry's downfall symbolizes something larger, a shift in the monarchy's approach to accountability. No longer can royals expect indulgence while living outside their duty. To the public, this is not just about punishing Harry, it is about restoring balance between privilege and responsibility. And in that balance, the runaway prince finds himself on the losing end.
What sort of environmental example is it setting to be flying around in helicopters all the time?
Yeah.
When we were all being told a few years ago, take the train and don't get in cars, and now we're getting the complete opposite. So it doesn't really fit in with the king's green credentials, but I think it had to go.
I think they can't win either way. If they kept it, people would say, it's something that the Queen was very passionate about, it's emblematic of the royal.
Around the world, the spectacle of Harry's unraveling has become headline material. International media now frame him not as a bold reformer, but as the prince who squandered everything. In the United States, commentators once sympathetic to the couple are growing blunt, pointing out that Harry's only real bargaining chip was his title. And now it's gone. For Meghan, the consequences are equally dire. Stripped of her Duchess styling, her credibility in Hollywood plunges. Studio executives who once entertained meetings because of her royal link are now reluctant, seeing only a trail of canceled projects, failed business ventures, and a reputation for being difficult to work with. Even high-profile supporters like Tyler Perry and Gordon Ramsay have voiced frustration, reflecting a growing sense that the world is finished indulging her. Together, Harry and Meghan's brand, once billed as unstoppable, now appears hollow, built entirely on the foundation of royalty that has crumbled beneath them. Their critics say the collapse is poetic, their defenders say it's harsh, but one thing is certain, the fairy tale is over.
Because they're earning too much money. I mean, the £100 million that have been granted for the refurbishments of Buckingham Palace, there is a public good there. If you go anywhere near Buckingham Palace, it's always full of tourists. A tour alone will cost about £60 per person just to tour the Buckingham Palace. The British public makes a lot of money, and there's a lot of financial good that comes from just tourism that the royal family generates.
The legacy Harry is now writing for himself is starkly different from the one once imagined. Once admired as a war veteran who put service above self, he is now defined by bills and fines that forever brand him as the prince who lost everything. Parliament's removal of titles bill closes the loophole Harry exploited, leveraging royal prestige while refusing royal duty. The Treasury's $500,000 penalty seals that closure with financial force, proving that not even the king's son is untouchable when law and accountability collide. Supporters may argue that this is excessive, but lawmakers maintain it was Harry himself who invited this reckoning by constantly monetizing his royal identity while discarding its obligations. In doing so, he became the example politicians needed to prove that privilege cannot go unchecked. His story, once filled with admiration and hope, is now told as a cautionary tale of arrogance and squandered opportunity, a reminder that titles and fortunes mean little when stripped of trust and duty.
We don't, but but I personally think this was the right time to get rid of the royal.
I think at the moment the refurbishment of Buckingham Palace, which is clearly necessary, you know, the rewiring and plumbing and everything else, which is ancient, got to be done. But then after that's over, I think they really do have to make some serious decisions, because they've just got too many homes. And you know, when sadly the king dies.
Perhaps the most telling part of this saga is the royal family's silence. Buckingham Palace has offered no statement, but insiders suggest their quiet approval speaks louder than words. For years, the monarchy endured Harry's accusations, his Netflix documentaries, and interviews that painted them as villains. Yet now, Parliament and the Treasury have stepped in, delivering consequences the royals themselves never had to impose. To King Charles, Queen Camilla, and Prince William, this is the cleansing moment they quietly hoped for. The public sees it as long-awaited justice, an overdue correction after years of indulgence. Across Britain, citizens express satisfaction that Harry, who once seemed untouchable, must finally live under the same laws as everyone else. The silence from the palace is not neutrality, it is relief. For many, this marks the beginning of a new chapter in which royal privilege is reined in, and accountability, not heritage, defines the monarchy's future. Harry's fall in that sense is both symbolic and necessary.
I'm a private, but they've, you know, it still doesn't, it's not a good look to have 7 or 8 homes, is it?
Do you not think the royal family should have lots of homes? It's the royal family. Do you
I
not
think they should
have helicopters, they
of
should
them.
have trains, they should have a yacht. This is the whole idea.
Yeah, I think they should, to a certain extent.
Prince Harry's story has reached a turning point that few could have predicted. Once seen as the mischievous yet beloved grandson of the Queen, he is now the subject of parliamentary bills and treasury penalties that strip away the identity he built his life upon. Meghan, too, finds herself caught in the fallout, her marketability collapsing without the titles that once gave her a bargaining edge. What began as a pursuit of independence has spiraled into public humiliation, financial penalties, and a redefined legacy. Parliament has made its stance clear. Royal privilege without royal duty will no longer be tolerated. The monarchy itself has remained silent, yet that silence feels like approval, a sign that this reckoning was inevitable. The world now watches closely as the prince who once had everything struggles to find relevance without his crown. But here's the question for you. Do you think Harry and Meghan can rebuild their image without royal titles, or is this truly the end of their influence? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you never miss the latest updates.